Cheers. Test, test, test. Hello. Is it on? Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our UCR AAPI Recognition Ceremony. We're so happy you all could join us in celebrating our 2025 graduates. I'm Marissa Young-Lillet. I'll be your host for this evening. We welcome you all. To begin, I'd like to start by acknowledging the land we're on. We at UCR would like to respectfully acknowledge and recognize our responsibility to the original and current caretakers of this land, water and air, the Kauai, Tongva, Lusango, and Serrano peoples, and all of their ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. To start, I'd like to introduce our first performance of the night, our UCR Senryu Taiko. A group making noise since 1998, Senryu Taiko is one of the earliest intercollegiate taiko groups to ever form in the U.S. Self-taught and self-sustained, Senryu Taiko continues the tradition of komi daiko by writing music together, teaching incoming members, and forming ties with other collegiate taiko groups across the nation. Please welcome our Senryu Taiko group. Next, we'd like to welcome up our Director of Asian Pacific Student Programs, William Cagnap.
And let's give it up to Senryo Taiko again one more time. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Billy Cagnap, the Director for Asian Pacific Student Programs, and it is my honor to be here before you tonight at the second annual Asian American Pacific Islander Recognition Celebration here at UCR. Tonight we celebrate a milestone, one that is both individual and collective. Each graduate here has walked their own unique path, overcome their own set of challenges, and achieved a goal that demands dedication, perseverance, and resilience. And yet, you stand here together, a community of scholars ready to embark on the next chapter of your lives. Your time at UCR has been memorable. To truly understand the significance of this moment, it's important to acknowledge the groundwork laid by those who came before you. A few of those people are here today, and one specifically you will hear from in just a bit. For many years, UCR has been a home to a vibrant and diverse AAPI student population. And for much of that history, dedicated students advocated for resources and support systems that would serve their specific needs and foster a strong sense of community. That advocacy bore fruit in the establishment of Asian Pacific Student Programs, or APSP. In 1989, just over 35 years ago, APSP officially opened its doors, emerging from the tireless efforts from student groups like the Inter-Asian Club Council, which sounds like APSAC, the Japanese Student Association, now the Nikkei Student Union, the Asian Indian Student Association, now South Asian Federation, and then the Chinese Student Association, still CSA, and Katipunan, the Filipino student organization on campus. These students recognize the need for a dedicated space and support system to address the growing needs of the AAPI student population, which at the time comprised of only about 10% of the undergraduate student population. APSP was founded on the principles of leadership, consciousness, and community. It was envisioned as a place where students could not only find academic support, but also cultural affirmation, mentorship, and a sense of belonging. Over the years, APSP has grown and evolved, adapting to the changing needs of each new generation of students, and it has become a vital resource, providing a wide range of programs like cultural education, peer mentoring, leadership development, and advocacy. Today, nearly 1/3 of UCR student body identifies as Asian American or Pacific Islander, a testament to the growth and impact of this community. APSP has played a crucial role in fostering this growth, creating a campus climate where AAPI students can thrive and succeed. And this AAPI Recognition Celebration is a direct extension of that mission. It is a celebration of our achievements, a recognition of the unique experiences, and proof to the enduring power of community. You've navigated a period of rapid change, not just in your own lives, but in the world around you. You've adapted to new ways of learning, made connections in a dynamic environment, and added your unique talents to the vibrant culture of this university. You have not only benefited from the legacy of APSP and UCR, but you have also added to its ongoing story, shaping its present and future. I want to acknowledge the families, friends, mentors, and supporters who have played an instrumental role in your journey. Your presence here tonight is evidence to the power of community and strength of dreams and the enduring bonds that sustain us. To the graduates, please take a moment today, tomorrow, or over the next few weeks to recognize those who have helped you reach this point. Their belief in you, their encouragement, and their love have been a source of strength and inspiration. As you move forward, the lessons learned both inside and outside the classroom, remember the late night study sessions, all the culture night practices, and the friendships made, and the challenges overcome. Remember the rich cultural heritage that you carry with you, a heritage that enhances our society and strengthens our communities. And remember the legacy of those who came before you, who fought for the resources and support systems that have helped you to reach this day. The world you are entering is complex and full of both opportunities and challenges. Your education has equipped you with the knowledge and skills to make a meaningful difference. Embrace your potential, use your voice, and contribute your talents to creating a more just, equitable, and compassionate world. As you do so, carry with you the spirit of community and the commitment to service that has been the hallmark of the AAPI community at UCR. This celebration is not the end, but a beginning. It is a launching point for your dreams, your aspirations, and your contributions to the world. As you go forth, may you continue to learn, to grow, and to make us proud. May you build upon the foundation laid by those who came before you. And may you continue to strengthen the bonds of community that have sustained you throughout your time at UCR. So with that, congratulations to the class of 2025. We celebrate you, we honor you, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you. And now I would like to welcome to the podium to say a few words our Associate Vice Chancellor and Dean of Students, Dr. Christine Mata.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. How's everybody feeling? Excited? Yes, let's hear it. Let's give our graduates a round of applause. That's right. I'm Dr. Christine Mata, and I have the incredible honor of serving as the Associate Vice Chancellor and Dean of Students here at UC Riverside. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the second annual Asian American Pacific Islander Recognition Celebration. Tonight, we gather to celebrate excellence. And there is no better example of that than the graduating class of 2025. Let's give them another round of applause. To our graduates, congratulations. You've made it through the late nights, the endless cups of coffee, the study sessions, the doubts, the deadlines, and you're here. Everyone is here. That is no small feat, and I want you to know that we are so very proud of each and every one of you. I also want to take a moment to recognize the families, friends, and supporters who stood by our graduates every step of the way. Your love, encouragement, and belief made this journey possible. This celebration is yours too. Let's give our supporters, families, friends a round of applause because it does take a village. Graduates, you are the embodiment of resilience, brilliance, and determination. You came to UCR with powerful histories and perspectives, and you made this campus richer because of it. Thank you for making UCR part of your story. We are better for it. And I want to pause here to really acknowledge the weight of this moment, really think about this moment. For many of you, you are the first in your family to earn a college degree. That changes your story. But it also transforms the future of your family, your community, and the generations to come. That is powerful. Let that sink in. As you step into what comes next, I want to leave you with a few thoughts. Number one, embrace the unknown. You don't have to have it all figured out. Life isn't a straight line. It's full of unexpected turns that often lead to the most meaningful places and most rewarding experiences. Number 2, invest in your relationships, your community. Your community got you here. It will sustain you as an alum. Your community, your friends, mentors, colleagues will lift you up again and again. Show up for them, build those bonds. They're your foundation. Number 3, don't compare your journey. Everyone's path is unique. Focus on your growth. Look at how far you've come, not where someone else is. Number 4, use your voice and power with purpose. You hold a degree from UC Riverside, the University of California. You are world-class graduates. That means you carry both opportunity and responsibility. Use it to advocate, to lead, and to uplift those around you. And finally, the most important one right now, celebrate. Pause, breathe, soak this in. You did it, and you deserve every bit of this celebration. Don't let it pass you by. Find some time to celebrate. Class of 2025, we are so proud of you. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey, and thank you for letting me share in this moment of AAPI excellence with you all tonight. Now let's celebrate. I'll pass it over to Marosa, who will introduce tonight's keynote speaker. Thank you so much and have fun.
It's my pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote. Dr. Rajak Rana Das Makbual is a Bay Area transplant by way of Riverside and Long Beach, California. He received his BA in Liberal Studies from UC Riverside in 2000, his MA in Asian American Studies from San Francisco State University in 2004, and his education doctorates in organization and leadership with a minor in international multicultural education from University of San Francisco. Rod has served as a teacher coordinator and is currently the director of Pinoy Educational Partnerships. He has worked with various youth, student, and community organizations throughout California, including APSP at UC Riverside, the Summer Program for Empowerment and Leadership sponsored by Search to Involve Filipino Americans in Los Angeles, the Festival of Filipino Arts and Culture, the Upward Bound program at Cal State Fullerton, the Japanese Community Youth Council, and youth prevention services at the Filipino Community Center in San Francisco. In addition, Rod has taught education and ethnic studies courses at USF, UC Davis, Sonoma State University, City College of San Francisco, SFSU, and Skyline College, where he is a tenured track professor in ethnic studies. Rod is also involved in local politics in Daly City, California, where he was elected to the city council in 2018. He is a 2-time vice mayor and currently serves as the mayor of Daly City for the 2nd time. He's a lifelong professional wrestling fan, a diehard Lakers supporter, and part of Raider Nation. Most importantly, he loves raising his children, Aminian and Razon, with his wife, Dr. Arlene Daus Makbual. Rod truly believes that understanding the history of your people comes with a responsibility to act. He is motivated by love and the pursuit of peace, justice, and liberation. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Dr. Rod Daus Makbual.
Isang bagsak. Let's do it again. Isang bagsak. So I begin my speech with tradition. And these two traditions come from activist, revolutionary work from here in the United States to the Philippines. What we just did was a unity clap where Chicano farm workers and Filipino elders called the Manongs teamed up together to fight for better working conditions as the United Farm Workers, right? People know Cesar Chavez, but they don't know Philip Veracruz or Lira Itliong that spurred this movement. And what we did when we concluded with a isang bagsak, and isang bagsak meaning is one down. And in Tagalog, bagsak means to fall down. I'm not saying like we should all stumble off the stage. It means that we are one step to the larger goal. This tradition was created by one of my mentors, Art Nelson Concordia, who was an ethnic studies professor at ethnic studies teacher at Balboa High School, and is now getting his doctorate at UCLA. And he put those two traditions together to talk about what our existence here in America as revolutionaries in the presence of the United States. And so I wanted to start off with that tradition because what you're doing right now is a special tradition. Y'all should be really, really proud of yourselves. Like when I walked in here, I really felt kind of choked up because this is the first time I've been in the rec center since I graduated here 25 years ago. Can y'all believe that? And so my name is Dr. Rodas Magwal, class of Y2K, baby. Year 2000, yo. I still can't believe it's been 25 years since I graduated. It felt like a blink of an eye. And to see how things have changed so much, like I see everybody, on their phones. Maybe you want to put this on Instagram and tag me, Rod for Daly City, if you want to. Wink, wink. But back then, we didn't have social media. But you know what we did have? We had AOL. And I remember when I was a freshman, we were trying to register for classes. And I remember the only way you could connect to the internet was through telephone line. And so like as a nervous freshman, you're trying to add your classes. And then next thing you know, the phone rings and you get thrown off. I'm like, dang, now I got to take this 8 o'clock in the morning class because I got thrown off. And so I grew up alongside the internet. And to see it come around 25 years later, it's an honor for me to be here to speak in front of UCR, Riverside. And so UCR has been an instrumental place in shaping who I am today. And before I begin, I just want to thank my dad, Amante Magwal, who's in attendance, my tita Mila Asidio, my Manong Rich. So for those that are Ilocano or from the Philippines, Ilocano is a northern language in the Philippines, and Manong means elder. And so I want to shout out to Dr. Richard Magwal, UCR class of 1996, and my son, Rason Daos Magwal, who are all in attendance to support me. I also want to thank Billy and the Asia Pacific Student Programs family for choosing me to be the keynote speakers. Like when he hit me up, he was like, hey, Rod, you be interested? And I was like, damn, how am I gonna make this work? F it, we're gonna make it work, right? And I also wanna acknowledge my APSP OGs who took me under their wing back in 1994 when I was a 15-year-old kid from Riverside, Ramona High School. And they're probably watching right now, but the founder of APSP, the current Dean of Ethnic Studies at San Francisco State University, Dr. Grace Yu, Dr. Roland Coloma, who's the Professor of Teacher Education, Associate Dean of Faculty and Student Staff Affairs at Wayne State University in Detroit, Vesi Save, April Veneracion Ung, and the former director of APSP, the legendary Emilio Jovarada. I've known these mentors since I was in high school, leader for the Youth Community Outreach Program, better known as YCOP. And for those that are probably in APSP, you're like, what is YCOP? No, it's not like this police thing. It was called Youth Community Outreach Program, and it was a youth outreach program based out of APSP. It offered me guidance, mentorship. I transitioned into UCR as an undergrad, and it was my first exposure to ethnic studies, especially Asian American and Pacific Islander studies. It is also where I met my wife, right? Dr. Ardeen Das Magwal. Asian American Studies professor at SF State. And she graduated from UCR as well. So APSP became my home, where I cried, I celebrated, and discovered my potential. It is also why programs that support diversity, equity, access, and inclusion were and still important today. It's more than a network, but these people became my chosen family that have opened doors for me over the past 30 years. And you were like, how did he go from here to the Bay Area? Long story short, 9/11 happened, and I wanted to continue my education. And I ended up going to SF State for my master's in Asian American Studies. My dad, he's probably be like, when are you coming back to Riverside? Are you going to move back now? I was like, Dad, I am the mayor of Daly City. I don't know if I can move back anytime soon. But I have many people that come up to me, and he says, like, man, you know, Rod, you've been living in Daly City since 2002, and maybe many people ask me, I know you're not from the Bay, but where did you grow up? And I always represent and say, I'm from Riverside, with my chest. Not LA, you know, because some folks be faking the funk and they be living in the Bay and like, I'm from LA. Where are you really from? Menifee. That's not LA, bro. No, that's the IE, baby. But Riverside, man, the Inland Empire. I wouldn't be the ethnic studies professor at Skyline College in San Bruno, the director of Pinoy Pinay Educational Partnerships, and an award-winning ethnic studies program in the Excelsior neighborhood in San Francisco that teaches Filipino, Filipina, Philippine X-American studies to K through college students. So let me tell you that again. They're teaching Filipino American studies. My son right there has learned Filipino American history at kindergarten. I didn't get that until I got to UCR. And I'm also the current mayor of Daly City. If it wasn't for the community of Riverside and my time at UCR, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I still have a lot of family here in Riverside. So my nieces and my nephews, they call Riverside, what do they call Riverside? Anybody? They call it the Riv. Am I right? Okay. And so my nieces and nephews call Riverside the Riv. And the Riv was the site of some of my most painful experiences that fueled my indignation as a young person. It also offered a community to create, experiment, discover my identity, and where my political activism and organizing were born. My journey to the Riv started when I was a 10-year-old Filipino kid who grew up on the west side of Long Beach, California in the late 1980s, where there was a large Filipino-American community because it was a Navy town. And so there was a running joke back in the day where they said your mom was a nurse and your dad was in the Navy. My dad was not part of the service, but he was a welder, a small business owner, and learned to become a successful entrepreneur. Long Beach was and still is a working class and immigrant city that have Southeast Asian refugees from places like Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and from the Pacific like Guam, Samoa, Tonga. To give you context, many of these Southeast Asian and Pacific Islander youth fell into the groups of gangs, not because it was cool, but because it was out of circumstance. So my family and I, we recently were able to attend the Kendrick Lamar and SZA concert at Oracle Park in San Francisco last week. And just like his song, Mad City, these youth are good kids. But when you put them in communities that do not have the resources to bring out the best of them, gang affiliation becomes a space where they find community, identity, and status. These families came from nations that have violent histories of colonialism, that were war-torn, and they ended up in cities riddled with crime and education institutions that were not well-resourced and did not reflect their stories or identities. It was left for them to figure it out. So growing up, I saw a lot of trauma at a young age. Family and friends who were victims and perpetrators of violence, who were incarcerated and released without the resources to thrive. Many of my families, like mine, moved to the suburbs or to the ranch-style homes surrounded by orange groves like Orange Crest and Woodcrest in Riverside in the early 1990s. My parents felt the best option was to drive down the 91 East from Long Beach to developing communities of the Inland Empire. This was also a period when many Asian immigrants were moving to the Inland Empire for sanctuary. It was a suburban flight from communities like Carson, Long Beach, Los Angeles, and moving to places like West Covina or Westco, Diamond Bar, Yorba Linda, Chino Hills. Oh, go ahead, you could Rancho Cucamonga, Ontario, Corona, Eastvale, Temecula, Murrieta, Morena Valley, or Moval, right? And of course, Riverside. These families were reaching for that American dream, trying to escape gangs, living in suburban housing tracts, and start anew. We left one community where family members lived within blocks of each other, where the people reflected the diversity for tract homes, with acre backyards and dreams of full potential. It was also a place where Asian American students represented less than 3% of the student population, and where I went to middle school and high school, and it was less than 1%. So I didn't see anybody that looked like me in school, not even a teacher or a staff member, but it was programs like APSP that used the resources and networks here to pair me up with mentors that were Asian American Pacific Islander. Around this same time, it was also where California was conservative and passed anti-immigrant and racist policies. 1990s California reflected what is going on in the current political climate. I cut my teeth organizing as a high school student with the passage of Proposition 187, 1994, which aimed to deny undocumented immigrants access to public services, including non-emergency health care, public education, and various social science services. It was passed by the voters of California, but it was deemed unconstitutional by the federal courts. The passage of Proposition 209, which banned affirmative action, decreased the enrollment of students of color, especially Filipinos, in places like Berkeley and UCLA, but it was a blessing in disguise because many of these students ended up coming to UCR and becoming my good friends, where we became organizers. It was also a time when I was introduced to ethnic studies through APSP and also through my older brother, Dr. Rich. I remember one time he took the first Filipino American history course taught by the late Pinay historian, Dr. Steffi San Buenaventura. I still remember when he came home after school and he was so excited. He was like, yo, Rod, check this out, man. Did you know Filipinos came to the United States in Louisiana before the Pilgrims? I was like, nah, you're lying, man. You're lying. No, for real, Rod, before the United States became a country, they had bahay kubus or Filipino huts in the bayou. I was like, you're lying. And then my brother showed me this book by Fred Cordova, and he showed me these pictures of these old Filipino men through the Manila-Acapulco trade that were dancing the shrimp, and they created the shrimping industry in Louisiana. It was the first time that I saw myself in books. And it gave me legitimation because I thought that Filipino American history started when my mom came here as a nurse. It is important for me to share where I'm from because these communities and experiences have shaped me and can be used as lessons for today. They continue to fuel my purpose to create a culture of peace, love, and freedom. This opportunity to share my story and experience as your keynote speaker is an honor because not only did I graduate from UCR, but I am Riverside. And I want to acknowledge that the graduating class has been shaped by COVID-19 pandemic, our ongoing recovery, and turbulent political times. Simultaneously, you have navigated the everyday grind and responsibilities as students, activists, artists, organizers, workers, lovers maintaining relationships, caretakers for your elders, and maybe some of you were handling grief over the loss of loved ones. To find a peace of mind in this whirlwind of chaos, I traced the past to understand our present. The common threads and patterns between the past and present are lessons we can learn from our ancestors. So I bring in the late Pinay historian, one of my mentors, Dr. Dawn Buholona Mabalon. And she expressed that Filipino American history is a conversation with our ancestors. In my meditations, prayers, and conversations with my ancestors, such as my mom, Virginia La Cuesta Rania Magbual, my auntie Ador, my Lola Ines, my grandparents, Juan and Rufina Rania, and friends who became answers way too soon, such as my friend Sharon Paray, Dr. Gwen Agustin Nadora, Dr. Jonathan Magat, Dr. Mark Aquino, and my homegirl, Romilena Acosta Noah, I am reminded of our memories of laughter and hope, profound words of wisdom, and moments where I would ask myself, what would so-and-so do? What would they do in this moment? What lessons can they provide to make sense of all this disorder? When I was chosen to be keynote speaker, it came to me in a dream. And it was about a couple of months ago. My students completed a unit on the Manong and Manong generation in Filipino-American history. And so if you're unfamiliar with this generation, it refers to an era in America when many migrant workers, like my grandpa Juan Rania, who came from the northern Luzon, and Filipinos from the Visayas region arrived on the shores of Hawaii, the Pacific Northwest, Alaska, and California during the 1920s and 30s to work in agriculture, canneries, and other undesirable labor-intensive jobs, but they handled it with honor, their heads up, and with pride. They were subjected to racial violence and trauma. News headlines reported the bombing of the Filipino Federation of America building in Stockton, California. Accusations of Filipino men taking white women and jobs from white men. Some were murdered by white mobs like Manong Fermin Tubera in Watsonville, or being blamed for economic woes after the 1929 stock market crash, leading to the Tidings-McDuffie Act of 1934, which restricted Filipino immigration to 50 a year. Sounds familiar, right? It sounds like today. The attack on immigrants, the poor, the black, the brown, the queer community, the disenfranchised. Prominent Filipino-American writer, the late Carlos Bolosan, wrote in his poem, "If you want to know what we are," he expressed, "observe the bloody club smashing heads, the bayonet penetrating hollow breasts, giving no mercy. Watch the bullet crashing upon armorless citizens. Look at the tear gas choking the weakened lung. If you want to know what we are, see the lynched trees blossoming, the hysterical mob rioting. Remember the prisoner beaten by the detectives to confess a crime he did not commit because he was honest, and who stood alone before a rabid jury of 10 men, and who was sentenced to hang by a judge whose bourgeois arrogance betrayed the office he claimed his own. Name the marked man, the violator of secrets. Observe the banker, the gangster, the mobster who kill and go free. It's a tale of Manongs and Manangs who were seen as the hope, the dream, the worker, the scapegoat, the victim of racial violence, but also the revolutionary spirit of the Filipina X. These are historical lessons that provide context to understand today's complicated present. As an ode to Carlos Bolosan, Don Mabalon wrote, "If you want to know what we are, 2001, and expanded the complexities of the Filipino-American community, acknowledging communities such as LA's Filipino town, Stockton's Little Manila, San Francisco's Manila town, South of Market neighborhood, Virginia Beach, and of course, Daly City, the post-1965 immigration, the role of Pinoy's colonial mentality and decolonization, and how hip-hop became a cultural catalyst for Pinoys and Pinays." She wrote in her poem, "Our bones make music if you want to know what we are, who are Pinay, who are second generation, third generation, 1.5, and immigrants who bear legacies of the Babaylan priestesses and whose shoulders bear the brunt of every burden. Yet our spirits are never broken." Carlos and Don's poems were like whispers in my dream, helping me find hope, reason, and motivation in today's political climate. Our current federal administration is attacking the very fabric of our existence, our survival and legacies of our community. I would never imagine that higher education would be under attack. Climate change would be seen as a hoax. Science downplayed and journalists attacked and ridiculed. Some days I feel angry, and at times it feels bleak. But Carlos and Don reminds us is that if you want to know what we are revolution. So UCR AAPI 2025 graduates, you are Carlos and Don's revolution. Many of you will be entering the workforce or graduate school. Many people ask me, "How do you do it, Manong Rod?" Or older brother Manong Rod. "You're an ethnic studies professor, a nonprofit director, and the mayor of one of the largest communities of Filipinos in America." You know what I tell them? I said, it's my Riz. What's Riz? Graduates? It's me. Okay, what's Riz? Riz is short for what? Charisma, right? Everybody's always my aura, right? Back in the day, back in the 90s, it was like, I feel your vibe, okay? So for my elders, my Gen Xers, Riz is short for charisma or attraction. One of the other reasons why I say I could do what I'm doing is because I graduated from UC Riverside. So combining the definitions of Riz and Carlos and Don's revolution, I combine these two concepts with the UCR AAPI 2025 Resolution. And it's an acronym. I know Riz is R-I-Z-Z, but I got kind of lazy, so it's R-I-Z. Okay? So R is for revolutionary, I is for integrity, and Z is for zealous. So the R in resolutions means revolutionary. The etymology of revolutionary derives from the noun revolution, meaning to look back, right? And volvere, meaning to roll. It's to remember who we are as a people and a call to action. And Dawn in her poem shared, we are the legacies of hundreds of years in the archipelago and in the Americas who spread out in search of dreams and something to feed our families. We are the hope of our parents and we reap the benefits of their sweat. I have experienced the anxiety of post-grad life and the search for a job felt distant. I would ask myself, what's the value of this degree? Did I make a mistake? Interview after interview, I began to second guess myself. It took me 18 years to land my quote-unquote dream job as a tenure-track professor in ethnic studies. What kept me hopeful was the historical lessons of my people that represented grit, sacrifice, and the revolutionary nature of our people to keep on fighting. We are revolution like the Katipunan struggle for liberation in the Philippines, the right to learn about our own history in the creation of ethnic studies, or like the unsung heroes of Pinay nurses like my mom, who immigrated to the United States in the late 1960s and 70s, who sent the majority of their paychecks back to the Philippines and were responsible for the chain migration that brought their clans to America. When you felt cut down, remember to look back, because the struggles and survival stories of your people and family can help put things in perspective and allow you to feel that impossible is possible. The I in resolutions is integrity. The humbling experiences I learned from post-grad life, the grief I carried when my mom passed away from cancer right after I received my doctorate from USF in 2010, followed by years of disappointing interview results, were taxing. I could have easily folded it up, packed it up, and moved back to SoCal, but I refused. Former Sonoma State University Pinay professor, Dr. Lenny Strobel said, to build a community is to be able to watch for signposts. To watch for signposts is the ability to read the world and understand the patterns, the ebbs and flows of our society. Knowing what needs to be built according to our community's needs and our opportunities that are revealed. What I learned through my trials and tribulations was that for every setback was a set up. Carlos Bolosan said, we are the men and women reading books, searching the pages of history for the lost word, the key to the mystery of living peace, imperishable joy. We are factory hands, field hands, meal hands, molding, creating, building structures, forging ahead. Some of you represent the first in your family, maybe the first to enter college, the first to graduate, the first to maybe enter a graduate program next year. Your legacy is tied to your integrity. It plays a critical role in the spaces that you will reside. You'll be the next CEO, the next transcending leader. How will you demonstrate integrity to level up the next generation and take our community to places where we've been denied? On top of being a husband and a father, I pursued 3 different roles in the community, not for clout, but I understood the importance that there will be another person who will come after me. The roles I have in our community are not just for another brown face satisfying a diversity checklist, but a responsibility. As a student, teacher, and steward of our community, I believe that the spaces we occupy are important to transform spaces that have excluded us to look, smell, feel, sound, and taste like our community. The final is the Z in resolutions, meaning zealous. Zealous is an adjective that describes someone who shows great energy, enthusiasm, or passion for a cause, idea, or goal. A zealous person is intensely devoted and eager to support or pursue something they strongly believe in. The late Filipino-American farm worker and labor leader Philip Veracruz shared, if more young people could just get involved in important issues of social justice, they would form a golden foundation for the struggle of all people, end quote. There is a saying, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And I believe we are at that breaking point. Don expressed, we are the activists, the artists, the doctors-to-be, the nurses in training, the engineers, the organizers, the writers, the teachers, the prophets, the workers reaching for future and claiming our present. Making history is not easy, but it is possible. What type of world are you willing to fight for? And so in conclusion, UCR AAPI Grad 2025, you are Carlos and Don's revolution. And when people ask me, how do you do it, Mon and Rod? You're an ethics studies professor, a nonprofit director, and a mayor. It's more than just charisma or riz. It was my experiences of being humbled, fighting for what you believed in, getting back when you get slammed down, and being impeccable with your craft. Class of 2025, be revolutionary, demonstrate integrity, and be driven by the zealous pursuit of transforming yourself and your community. And so I want to leave you with the words by Carlos and Don where they said, you are the vision and the star, the living testament of a flowering race. We are on the picket lines demonstrating justice. We are in the voting booth making change. We are building communities. We are not afraid of the political. We are transforming culture, and we have created a renaissance. We are the new hope, the new joy, new life everywhere. If you want to know what we are the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rod Dalsmagbuhol, for that encouraging message. Now we'd like to welcome our next performance by our Pacific Islander Student Association. PISA is an organization that thrives on enhancing the experiences of Pacific Islanders on campus and off campus. They seek to provide a space for its members to articulate their experiences and share their individual cultures with each other and the larger university and community populations. Here tonight is PISA to perform a Fijian-inspired number. Thank you, PISA students. Next, it's my honor to introduce our first student speaker of the evening. She's a graduating senior in the psychology department and has served as the co-president of the South Asian Federation this past year. Alongside being a student coordinator at the Asian Pacific Student Programs, she will be working as a registered behavior technician during her gap year and aims to get her master's in clinical psychology. Please welcome Harshita Arun Kumar.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. My name is Harshita. It is an honor to be here and have the opportunity to speak at this celebration. I'd like to thank APSP, the pro staff, and my coworkers who made this year so memorable, and everyone who helped set up and make this event a reality. I'd also like to thank my friends and family who are here to support, and also the people who couldn't make it but are supporting from afar. Lastly, I'd like to thank everyone who is here tonight celebrating our wonderful graduates. During my second year at UCR, I had the pleasure of taking my favorite class I've ever taken here, Philosophy 005, also fondly known as EVIL. Amongst debates about morals, ethics, and substance, we read a few novels, one of which was The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. O'Brien was a veteran who served in the Vietnam War, and he wrote about his experiences on the front. He says, "In the end, of course, a true war story is never about war. It's about the special way that dawn spreads out on a river when you know you must cross the river and march into the mountains and do things you are afraid to do. It's about love and memory. It's about sorrow. It's about sisters who never write back and people who never listen." Now, of course, most of the people in this room are not veterans, unless someone survived an 8 a.m. chem lab, in which case, thank you for your service. But we've all fought our own quiet battles over the past few years. Here's a fact. The people sitting in front of me today are graduating. But like O'Brien says, a true story isn't just about the facts. It's not about how many classes you took, how many papers you wrote, what your GPA is. It's about the things you carried, the things that didn't show up on your transcript. Some of us carried grief. Some of us carried the pressure of being the first in our families to go through the American college system. Some of us carried 3 tote bags and still managed to forget the one thing that we actually needed that day. Some of us carried guilt every time we texted our parents doing fine when we were anything but. Some of us perfected the skill of having a full-blown breakdown, silently, in a 200-person lecture hall. Some of us carry the pressure of speaking up and advocating for our communities every single day. And for those of us who are South Asian or children of immigrants or first-generation students, we have carried something else too, a kind of invisible inheritance, the pressure to excel, the responsibility of being a symbol for our parents' sacrifices for what it means to make it. We carried WhatsApp messages from back home that always said, "Study hard," even when we were at our breaking point. We carried expectations that we never agreed to, and dreams that weren't always ours to begin with. But we also carried culture, music, the traditions of our family and ancestors, our grandmother's prayers from afar, boxes of our mom's food carefully stocked away in our fridge, community that held us together when we felt far away from home. These aren't glamorous victories. They don't end up on honor cords or fancy certificates, but they are real and they matter. Because 15 years from now, you won't remember your GPA. You'll remember the friend who stayed on the phone with you while you sobbed outside your dorm. You'll remember the dread before every winter quarter, knowing that seasonal depression was clocking in early. You'll remember the people who saw potential in you when you couldn't see it yourself. And you'll remember the version of yourself who wanted to give up, but didn't. So maybe the true story of our time here isn't that we graduated, it's that we transformed. We softened and strengthened, often at the same time. The things we carried made us who we are, and the things we carry from here are shaping who we become. The facts will fade, but the feelings, The people, the small kindnesses, the brave decisions, they will stay. That's the story I'll tell, and that's the story I hope you will tell as well. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2025.
Our next student speaker is Melanie National, a graduating senior in Business Administration with a concentration in Information Systems, a student leader the past 3 years in Katpunan, PSO, serving as an apprentice, a secretary, and apprentice advisor, along with being a coordinator at Asian Pacific Student Programs. She hopes to dive into the world of technology. Please welcome our next keynote.
Hello. Even with heels, I need a stool. Okay. Good evening to the graduates, the staff and faculty, and the friends and families gathered here today in celebration of the class of 2025. I am honored to be speaking here with you all today as a keynote speaker. As graduation is slowly approaching and we are wrapping up our last week of undergrad classes, I would like to sincerely congratulate you all on this incredible achievement. College graduates, UCR alumni, class of 2025. Who would have thought all three of these descriptions would describe us here today? After all the late night studying, waking up to those 8 a.m. lectures, or even just trying to find a good spot in Lot 30, we have created our mark here at UCR. Some of us may think that our impact was small or that we didn't do too much, but I beg to differ. The experiences and challenges we faced in our journey at UCR were all a path we chose to follow. When I was a little girl, my dad once told me, "Your arm is a visual map of your life. We start at the elbow where we are born, and as we travel up the forearm, we journey through elementary and middle school. And if we were to stray from this path and head into what my dad calls the jungle, our family, our friends, and our support system are there to help guide us back on track. When we reach the palm, this is what he calls the pond. We hit high school. This is where many of us feel the stress of not knowing what we want to be, and lots of pressure sits at our palm of our hands. But that was just the beginning of discovering our direction in life. Lastly, we get to the fingers, which represent the things we want to do and the choices we make, like us committing to UCR and choosing a major in biology, business, economics, art, and much more. You found what you wanted to do in life, and it marked the start of your journey. However, right now, we're at the tip of our fingers. We are this close to graduation, this close to getting our degree, but beyond the fingertips is another unknown, another jungle. This metaphor reminds us that after reaching any milestone, like graduating college, life continues into uncharted territory, the unknown. Hence, we begin creating our own paths through the resources we have gathered throughout our lives. The many lessons we've learned, the amount of connections we've made, and the highs and lows that shaped us into who we are today. All of these events helped us create the path we want to follow. After we walk the stage at commencement, our next chapter will begin. Whether it's going back to school to pursue your master's, taking a gap year, or heading straight into the workforce, you are all creating your own path. And if you ever find yourself lost or unsure, know that your support system, your friends and family, are there to guide you. Not every path is perfect, and not every path you create is the one you have to stick with forever. And you want to know what's funny about walking down a path? You can turn around, go back, and create a whole new one. As I said, the paths we create are always going to be changing, and along with those changes will come its challenges. But right now, we aren't creating our paths just yet, as we are here, about 2 weeks until we officially graduate college at a celebration for our achievements. For many of us in the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, this moment is more than just earning a degree. It's about honoring the sacrifices our parents and grandparents made so we can stand here today. Our stories are shaped by resilience, hard work, and cultural pride. And today we celebrate both where we come from and where we're headed. So, be kind to yourselves. We survived the many different challenges that were thrown at us these past couple of years, and there are many emotions to be felt when walking the stage at commencement. Excitement, sadness, pride, bittersweetness, but the most rewarding one of all will be your parents saying, "I'm proud of you." Class of 2025, you did it. You've made your families proud, your communities proud, and most importantly, yourselves. Congratulations, and onward to the next chapter of your journey. Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Hector and Dr. Mate up here. We're going to begin calling up our graduates.
Harshita Arun Kumar, majoring in psychology. Melanie Victoria Nacional, majoring in business administration, concentration in information systems. Ethan Roland Ella Burnaby, majoring in bioengineering. Elia Manri Tianco Monti Falcone, majoring in sociology. Sophia Kehaulani Molin, majoring in business administration with a focus in accounting and auditing. Pierre Godesan, majoring in business administration with a focus in accounting and auditing. Priyanka Kaur Gotra, majoring in business administration, accounting and auditing. Ashley Sai, majoring in business administration, info systems. Abby Choi, majoring in biology. Anmar Thwin, majoring in biology. Human Lei, majoring in education, society, and human development. Everly Reagan Mai, majoring in computer science. Irvin Chen, majoring in psychology. Nathan Dang, majoring in business administration with a concentration in finance. Kevin Nguyen, majoring in finance. Paulo Piorque, majoring in cellular, molecular, and developmental biology. Annie Lynn Su, majoring in biochemistry with a concentration in biology. Yujung Kate Kane, majoring in biology. Christina Danielle Evangelista Forjas, majoring in microbiology. Kenneth Origo, majoring in biology. Madison Juliana Bugayan Oliva, majoring in mathematics. Jemima Roy Seralde, majoring in computer science with business applications. Eunice Wang, majoring in computer science with business applications. Sarah Hu, majoring in computer science. Tanya Tao Tang, majoring in business administration with a concentration in accounting. Caitlin Cassidy Law, majoring in business administration with a concentration in finance and minor in economics. Shayla Marie Leilani Hintai, with a BA in Public Policy, Health, and Population Policy. Namif Mankad, majoring in Business Administration with a concentration in Marketing. Kaylee Samantha Chung, majoring in Biology. Kenneth Un, majoring in Creative Writing and English as a double major. Nathan Perez, majoring in Computer Science. Adric Zuleta, majoring in Biology. Adriana Rubio, majoring in Psychology. Alex Taberna, majoring in Biology. Alexis Aplon, majoring in Neuroscience. Dominique Jimenez, majoring in Cell, Molecular, and Developmental Biology. Leilani Marie Sisson, majoring in Biology. Caleb Jones, majoring in Cell, Molecular, Developmental Biology. Kylie Venus, majoring in Business Administration and Finance. Leonardo Garcia, majoring in Political Science and Filmmaking. Sajal Shahid, majoring in Biology. Catherine Doe, majoring in Sociology. Megan Trin, majoring in Biology. Patricia Trin, majoring in Biology. Ren Fang, majoring in Education, Society, and Human Development. Nakanlaya Pa Tumsumpung, majoring in Theater, Film, and Digital Production. Annie Tui Nok Lam, majoring in biochemistry. Sally Fee, majoring in dance. Andre Darius Shaw Robinson, majoring in psychology and athletic leadership, minor. Janina Fernandez, majoring in dance. Alice Lee, majoring in biology. Shelley Knopp Lee, majoring in business administration. Joanna Rosell, majoring in psychology and neuroscience. Crystal Lum, majoring in neuroscience. Martha Zarate, Bachelor of Arts, Anthropology, and Arts Education. Carissa Eva Ortiz, majoring in neuroscience. Amanda Galicia, majoring in sociology. Michelle Agniento, majoring in biology. Charisse Ann de Dios, majoring in political science. Emily Sarashina, majoring in public policy. Kiana Sin, majoring in public policy. Kristen Suzuki, business administration. Alexandra Celis Arsenas, majoring in neuroscience. Trevor Riley D., majoring in business administration with a concentration in finance. Nathan Lay, majoring in computer science. Kelsey Pham Nguyen, majoring in education, human development, society, and double majoring in psychology. Julia Tang in psychology. Pratong Klumsum, majoring in actuarial science. Rachel Lee, majoring in sociology. Zoe Claire, majoring in psychology. Amber Summers, majoring in psychology. Lincoln Yang, majoring in public policy. Kaylee Young, majoring in creative writing. Elijah Fain, majoring in computer science with business applications. Christine Nguyen, majoring in chemistry. Leah Soriano, majoring in chemistry. Connor Keola Creech, majoring in political science and history. Kayla McCullough Lynn Martinez, majoring in cell, molecular, and developmental biology. Cameron Pye, majoring in psychology. Jasmine Ahn, majoring in biology. Diane Zhao, majoring in biology. Denise Marie Crystal Hicks, majoring in psychology. Gemma May Ranoy, majoring in psychology and neuroscience. Russell Angelo Arevalo, majoring in biology. Shruti Sri Sanikar, majoring in psychology and chess. Hey. Anjali Vodepati, majoring in business administration and psychology. Yash Chaudhary, majoring in psychology and education. Zairia Malik, majoring in media and human studies. Ellis Yang, majoring in business administration and information systems. Kimberly No, majoring in psychology.
With that, we've reached the conclusion of this evening. It's been an honor hosting, and thank you, APSP, for allowing me to join y'all in celebrating. We thank you, friends, families, and loved ones for joining us tonight. And another special congratulations to our UCR class of 2025.
Be cautious who you growing. That's what she told me. She said, make sure they gon' ride for you. Just be cautious. Make sure that you make it home safely.